Politics. It's ugly, petty, revolting. Now, sometimes you might be tempted to participate. You might vote, not because there's anything worth voting for, but because you are desperately trying to vote against the greater of two evils. But when you vote for the lesser of two evils, you're still voting for evil. And you know it. But hey, that's the system we have. Those are the options. What else can you do? You could vote for a third party and lose, and end up being abused by the two major political parties anyway. Hardly a solution. Despite what you constantly hear from government and the mainstream media, your vote is not your voice. It's a hollow sham, and you know it. The establishment gives you a couple of power-happy, opportunistic crooks to choose from, and after you pick one, they tell you that you consented to whatever happens after that. Americans may laugh at those countries which have elections, but where there's only one corrupt megalomaniac on the ballot. But putting two corrupt megalomaniacs on the ballot isn't any better. No, you're not free. No, your vote doesn't count. No, the ruling class doesn't care what you want. And it is a ruling class. For all the rhetoric about representatives doing the will of the people, and the most ridiculous one, we are the government. You know they don't care what you want. In their game, they have all the power, and you have none. If they mistreat you, rob you, abuse you, betray you, and sell you out, what are you going to do about it? Wait a few years and then vote for the other crook who will then do the same thing to you? The whole game, the facade, the joke of democracy is designed to keep you helpless, forever wasting your time and effort hoping for a political solution. But there is none. You know we will never suddenly vote away corruption and injustice, suddenly have politicians who do the right thing and institute peace, freedom, and justice for all. So what? Are we just doomed? Is this the best we can do? Is this the best we can hope for? Hell no. But if you want something different, something better, then you need to get your mind out of the complete crap you've been taught to believe. The truth is, you own yourself. No one has a right to your life, your body, your time and energy, or the fruits of your labor without your consent. Of course, if someone commits aggression against you, trying to assault or rob you, you have the right to defend yourself. But you do not have the right to be the aggressor, the one who starts a fight. This is called the non-aggression principle, and even if you've never heard it called that, most of us learned this when we were little children. Don't hurt people, and don't take their stuff. Simple. So far, all of this may seem pretty obvious, and you're probably thinking, well, who would disagree with that? It's how most people think and act in their day-to-day lives. However, while most people understand the concepts of live and let live and peaceful coexistence, almost everyone has been taught to believe that there's an exception when it comes to politics and government. We've been taught that so-called lawmakers and law enforcers have the right to do things that the rest of us don't, that it's legitimate and necessary for government to tax and control you and me, even if we're not threatening or harming anyone. The truth is so easy to say, but so hard for most people to hear, because it goes against what you have heard all your life from parents, teachers, politicians, and the talking heads on TV. The truth is, no election, no constitution, no political ritual, nothing can give anyone the moral right to rule. They have no right to rule you, and you have no obligation to obey. The beast that calls itself government is merely made up of people. Just people. They have no special virtues. They have no special wisdom. And they have no special rights. In fact, those that gravitate towards positions of power are some of the worst people in the world, and the last people you should listen to or obey. They call their commands law, and they call their extortion taxes, and they tell you that disobeying, breaking the law, makes you a bad person. As if disobeying the arbitrary crap issued by a bunch of crooked politicians is the equivalent of disobeying the commands of the gods. So, do you feel shame and guilt if you break the law? Do you think that whether you're a good person depends on whether you're a law-abiding taxpayer? Because it doesn't. Obviously, you shouldn't steal stuff, assault people, and things like that. But it's not because somebody wrote a law about it. It's because those things are inherently wrong. And when using violence against non-violent people becomes legal and is carried out by agents of government, it's still wrong. You can call it taxation, or law enforcement, or national defense, but committing aggression against another is still immoral. Indeed, the worst atrocities in history were legal and were carried out by law enforcers. So, am I saying that you shouldn't respect the law? Am I saying that you shouldn't respect the authority of government? Yes, that is exactly what I am saying. Do you really want to let a bunch of politicians tell you what is right and wrong instead of using your own moral compass, your conscience? Why would you let some of the worst people in the world tell you what you should and shouldn't do? You have a mind, you have a heart. Use them. Because if you think and talk and act as if they have the right to rule you and everyone else, if you think and talk and act as if we all have an obligation to pay tribute to these crooks and obey their every whim, if you look down on those who try to avoid being robbed and who do things which are peaceful but illegal, if you vote and beg to have politicians robbing and controlling your fellow man, then you are enabling and empowering your own abusers and giving your blessing to your own victimization and the victimization of everyone else around you. Stop acting as an accomplice to liars and crooks, thugs and thieves. We are taught that if government wasn't dominating and controlling us, we would all behave like stupid, violent animals. As if a peaceful society is only possible because of the benevolence and wisdom of politicians. That's not just a lie, it's a ridiculous lie. Government is nothing but a giant coercion machine, interfering by force in the lives of everyone and limiting everyone's options. And politics is based entirely upon divide and conquer. Those in power want all of us to be at odds with each other, to be divided by race, sex, age, income, religion, nationality, and so on. They need us to fear, distrust, hate, and resent each other so that each of us keeps begging them to use their power to forcibly control everybody else. And when we fall for that trick, the only ones who win are the politicians. Those in government get their power from you, from your vote, your compliance, your obedience, your words, or even just from your silence. For all of their rituals, all their grandiose buildings and fancy titles, all the rhetoric they use to disguise what they really are and what they really do, government is nothing more than a gang of thugs and thieves. But if you think and talk and act as if they are your rightful lords and masters, then they will treat you like they own you, as if you are nothing more than human livestock. Because of the people who blindly obey orders, who do the politicians' bidding, those in government may have the ability to dominate and rob you, but they have never had the right. It all comes down to the notion of authority, the idea that it is legitimate and righteous for a small group of people to forcibly extort and control everyone else. It's something we were all taught, and something that most people blindly believe and repeat without question, but it's still provably false, and in fact, insane. Civilized society does not require political power. In fact, true cooperation and peaceful coexistence require the absence of political power. Yes, I realize this goes against pretty much everything you have heard and everything you've been taught to believe, but it is the absolute truth. If you want clear, indisputable proof, then read The Most Dangerous Superstition by Larken Rose. It will change the way you see the world by showing you the world as it really is.